Hello, and welcome to the video play primer for Dysphoria Syndrome, my Dimir Elder Dragon Highlander deck, featuring Circu Dimir Lobotomist as the general. Circu is a general you might not have seen before. Whenever you play a blue spell, exile the top card of target library. Whenever you play a black spell, exile the top card of target library. Your opponents can't play non-land cards with the same name as a card exiled by Circu. Because Circu targets the library and not the player, they can't be protected by Ivory Mask and Leyline of Sanctity and other such cards. Now, normally for a video play primer, people would arrange the cards in the deck by either function or card type. In this case, I've arranged them by converted mana cost because we make heavy use here of the Dimir signature mechanic from Ravnica City of Guilds, Transmute, which requires you know what cards you have at each converted mana cost in order to know what to transmute for. So, as you can see, this is a mill deck, which does feature some infinite combos. But let's start with the mana base. The basic lands, there are 10 islands, all of which are from Ravnica City of Guilds. And 5 swamps, all of which are from Ravnica City of Guilds. That's just my Vorthos side coming out, you know, the various art. Then we have Polluted Delta, which is our fetch land in Dimir colors. I don't run off-color fetches in my decks because the thinning in a 100-card singleton format, the thinning isn't something that any of my commanders have ever wanted, and the price. Esper Panorama is a fetch that only finds basics. Same with Grixis Panorama. Dimir Aqueduct is your Guild Caru. Watery Graves, your Shock Land. Sunken Hope is your Battle Land. Temple of Deceit is your Scry Temple. This Dimir Guildgate is signed by Kathleen from Loading Ready Run at PAX 2014. That's pretty cool. That's why I keep it in the deck. Darkslick Shores is your Mirrodin Fastland. You've got Creeping Tar Pit, which is your Worldwake Manland. Choked Estuary is your Shadows over Innistrad duel. Jawar Isle Refuge is your Gain Life Refuge. Drowned Catacombs, your M10 Checkland. Underground Rivers, your Ice Age Painland. Tainted Isle is your Tainted Land. Sunken Ruins is your Shadowmoor Filterland. Odyssey Filterland, Darkwater Catacombs. Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth helps us with our combo. Gives us lots of mana out of as few lands as possible. And I see we've lost focus. There we go. Maybe. There we go. Cabal Coffers. Gives us lots of mana for having swamps. Ghost Quarter is just utility. Halimar Depths, deck manipulation and utility. Bojuka Bog is your Graveyard Hate. Dusk Mantle is the Dimir Guild Hall. It's milling. And Nephalia Drownyard is milling. So let's move now to the very few mana rocks that I run in here. I run Sol Ring because what deck doesn't? Dimir Signet, because you should have a Signet. Dimir Cluestone can draw you some cards if absolutely necessary. And the Dimir Keyrune is a blue-black horror creature if you need it. Now here's our 1-cost stuff. Dizzy Spell is our 1-cost transmute card, which we're going to use to find High Tide. We never cast Dizzy Spell as Dizzy Spell. We always use it to find High Tide. Unless we have High Tide in our hand, at which case maybe we find Prosperity, card draw, Altar of the Brood, milling, increasing confusion, milling, or probably our second choice to High Tide is Realm Right, because we can name island, set all our lands to be islands in addition to what they are, and that helps us with High Tide to make more mana out of fewer lands. In 2 cost, you have transmuters of Dimir Infiltrator and Muddle the Mixture, along with Shred Memory. Those can find you, well, you have Demonic Tutor and Merchant Scrawl. Mesmeric Orb is some good milling. Duskmantle Guildmage can kill people when you mill things. Sky Scribing is some awesome card draw. Limdul's Vault is more search. Dimir Guildmage is not as good as Duskmantle Guildmage, but he does in a pinch. Mind Grind is some great mill. Psychic Drain is mill that can help protect you if you're dying. You can gain some life. Jace's Erasure. Whenever you draw a card, you get to mill somebody for 1. Cyclonic Rift. What blue deck wouldn't run Cyclonic Rift? Train of Thought is card draw with Replicate. Cavern Harpy is nice because it triggers Circu twice, because it's a black spell and a blue spell, and you can use its ability to bounce it back to your hand so that you can cast it again and trigger Circu some more. Perplex counters a spell unless they discard their hand, and it's a 3 transmute. Along with Dimir Machinations is also a 3 transmute, and so is Drift of Phantasms. Those you'll probably be using to find Rhystic Study or Frantic Search for some card draw. Consult the Necrosages is also card draw, or discard. Mind Funeral is great milling. Ambassador Laquatus is more milling. He's legendary mill guy. Recoil, some bounce in case they have some juicy target. Jace's Archivist is your windfall on a stick. Sphinx's Tutelage is another good card to search up at 3 cost. It's more mill. Blue Sun Zenith is excellent card draw, and it shuffles itself back in. Memory Erosion is more mill, so if they play spells, they gotta mill themselves. Necrogen Mist is card draw, keep their discard, keep their hand rather empty. Clutch of the Undercity is your only 4 cost transmuter, and it transmutes for Crypt Ghast, basically. You can use it for its main side. There are some of the transmutes that you'll never use for their main side, but that's not one of them. But Crypt Ghast is kind of like High Tide, but for swamps. So if you've got Urborg, you can make your swamp start producing more mana. Here's Induce Paranoia, a counterspell that mills if you use black to cast it. Dreamborn Muse is milling everybody equal to their hand at the beginning of their upkeep. Factor Fiction, what blue deck doesn't want Factor Fiction? Brain Spoils your 5 cost transmute. It transmutes for Parallel Thoughts usually, which lets you find 7 things you need, set them aside in a face-down pile, and shuffle it. And as long as nobody disenchants your Parallel Thoughts, you get to draw those. So don't put all your combo pieces in the Parallel Thoughts, but, you know, throw some card draw in there, maybe 1 piece of your combo, if that, you know, something you like, and just use it to thin your deck a little bit and maybe draw into what you want. It depends on what other people at the table are doing. If they have lots of enchantment removal, then obviously put less important cards into that. Increasing Ambition is a tutor. Tutor once, flash it back, tutor 2 more times. Demonic Collusion is a buyback tutor. Tutor once, buy it back. Gauntlet of Power helps you to double your mana coming out of your basic land, which we need for our infinite combo. Traumatize is from the first Odyssey booster pack I ever bought, back in 2002. And it mills somebody for half their library. Dire Undercurrents causes people to discard whenever you play a black creature, and whenever you play a blue creature, you can make somebody draw. Mirko Vosk is Mind Funeral on a 2/4 flying body. Consuming Aberration gets bigger the more you mill them, and it mills them when you cast spells. Ethereal Ushers, your 6-cost transmute, and so is Netherborn Phalanx. They're going to be transmuting for Caged Sun, which doubles the mana out of your lands, or maybe they will find Consecrated Sphinx if they don't need to find Caged Sun. Zadak is the Piran of House Dimir, and he's in here mostly for flavor reasons. He gets big when he mills things. The more he mills, the bigger he gets. And our combo card, Palancron. If you can make 11 mana out of 7 or fewer lands, you can play Palancron an infinite number of times. Pick a number, play him that many times. You'll trigger Circu that many times. You can exile an arbitrarily large number of cards from an arbitrarily large number of libraries. If you happen to be able to make 12 mana out of 7 lands, you get infinite mana on top of it. And then you can just, Prosperity or one of your other X draw spells and make people win. Make people mill. Palancron's been a favorite of combo players for a long time. A favorite of mine for a long time. And that is Dysphoria Syndrome, my first ever Elder Dragon Highlander deck. It's also the reason why I don't really have any other real sort of combo-y decks among my stable of decks, because even though I am a Johnny, I don't like to always play combo, because I know there are people who don't like to always face infinite combos. So you have to be polite to your opponents and give them a chance to play against some decks that aren't going to just, hey look, I tutored for all my pieces, now I win. Alright, that's the first deck. Thank you. Have a good afternoon. Bye.